Welcome back to the Book Nook podcast, everyone. You know we love a good thriller around here, and this week we have an absolute gem for fans of the genre.
We're diving into Lethal Prey. It's the 35th book in John Sandford's Prey series, featuring the iconic Lucas Davenport.
Yes. And for our listeners who love a story that's complex and keeps you guessing and also touches on things that are happening in the world today, well, Lethal Prey has got you covered.
Definitely. And before we get into it, you can grab a copy of the book yourself using the link in the description below. Go ahead and grab it so you can follow along with our deep dive.
So let's jump right in.
Okay, so what really sets the stage in Lethal Prey is this cold case. Like, it's the heart of the story, a 20-year-old murder that suddenly gets thrown back into the spotlight.
Yeah, and it's not just any cold case. It's the brutal stabbing of Doris Granfeld. And after 20 years with no answers, Doris's twin sister Lara decides to take matters into her own hands.
It's pretty dramatic.
Right.
Lara's dealing with some health issues, and she's like, you know what? I'm not doing any longer. So she goes online and uploads the entire cold case file. Everything.
Oh, wow. Everything, like all the police reports and evidence.
That's right. She puts it all out there for the world to see. And to really get things moving, she adds a little incentive. A $5 million reward for information leading to an arrest.
$5 million. That's huge. Talk about motivation.
Right. It's like she's crowdsourcing the investigation. And of course, this sparks a frenzy online. True crime bloggers jump on the case ready to share their theories and maybe even crack the case themselves for that kind of money.
So it becomes this massive online phenomenon. And that's where our main characters, Lucas Davenport and Virgil Flowers, come in. They're called in to sort through the chaos and figure out what's real and what's just noise.
Exactly. You've got these seasoned investigators used to doing things by the book, suddenly thrust into this world of instant information and online speculation. That's a clash of old school detective work and the Wild West of the internet.
So for everyone listening, our goal today is to dig deep into Lethal Prey, explore these new dynamics, and try to understand why this story is resonating with so many readers.
Yeah, it's super relevant, right? Like, how does this open access to a cold case file change things? What are the good things and the bad things about this kind of digital investigation? It's uncharted territory.
So let's start with the potential upsides. Some people argue that having all these eyes on the case could actually be a good thing.
Right. Like, someone out there might remember something they didn't think was important before, but now seeing all the details online, it could click.
Yeah. A tiny detail that the original investigators might have missed. But with millions of people looking, it's like a giant puzzle being solved by a huge group.
Exactly. More perspectives, more brains working on the problem.
But on the flip side, there's the problem of all the noise online.
Oh, yeah. So much speculation rumors.
Yeah.
People spreading misinformation, maybe even intentionally trying to throw the investigation off track.
Yeah.
How do you separate fact from fiction?
It's a real challenge. And this is where Davenport and Flowers really shine. They bring their experience and skills to the table.
You've got Davenport, the seasoned detective, with his sharp instincts. And then you've got Flowers, who's more tech-savvy and understands the online world.
They make a great team. They need each other to navigate this crazy situation.
For sure. And then things get really interesting. One of the true crime bloggers actually manages to find the murder weapon. It had been missing for 20 years, and now it's back in play.
Wow. That's a game changer. I bet that throws a wrench into things.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The weapon could have DNA or other evidence that finally leads to the killer. But it also means that the killer now knows the game is back on.
Yeah, they've probably been feeling pretty safe all these years.
Yeah.
And suddenly their past is right back in their face.
And you have to think, with all the attention online, the killer's probably watching everything that's being said. They might even try to use that to their advantage to mislead the investigators.
So Davenport and Flowers aren't just solving a cold case. They might be dealing with a killer who's using the internet to stay one step ahead.
It's a whole new level of complexity. The digital age has changed everything. It's not just about fingerprints and witnesses anymore. It's about online footprints and digital trails.
Fascinating. And now if you're enjoying this conversation and want to hear more, be sure to subscribe to the Book Nook podcast and leave us a review. We love hearing from you.
So as you can see, Lethal Prey has gotten a lot of praise. But some reviewers have pointed out that the story focuses more on the investigation and the online aspect, and maybe less on the kind of action you might expect from a thriller.
That's an interesting point. It does make you think about what readers are looking for. If the story is so driven by the online world and the slow burn of gathering information, maybe the action takes a back seat.
Right. The tension comes from the mental game between the investigators and the killer who might be really good at using the internet to hide.
It's a different kind of thriller, more about strategy and using technology to unravel the truth.
But even with that shift, Sanford is still a master storyteller.
Yeah.
The book is super engaging. And there's another layer to the story, too.
What's that?
It's about the human need for justice. Laura's determination to find answers after 20 years, it shows how deeply we crave that closure.
It's incredibly powerful. She's willing to do whatever it takes to find the truth, even if it means putting everything online and risking the consequences.
And that brings up a big question for our listeners.
Mm.
In a world where information spreads so quickly, how do we balance online involvement with protecting an investigation? Where's the line between helping and interfering?
That's something to think about as you're reading Lethal Prey. And just a reminder, if you're enjoying this deep dive into the world of Lucas Davenport, be sure to subscribe and leave us a review. We really appreciate your support.
So to sum things up, we've talked about how a 20-year-old cold case gets thrown into the digital age and the challenges that creates for Davenport and Flowers.
And then you've got the discovery of the murder weapon, thanks to a true crime blogger, which adds a whole new level of danger and suspense.
The book really makes you think about how the internet has changed investigations and the delicate balance between public involvement and police work.
And at the heart of it all is Laura's unwavering pursuit of justice. It's a reminder that even after 2 decades, the desire for answers never fades.
One last thought for you to consider as you finish the book. With more and more people using the internet to solve crimes, how will law enforcement adapt? Can they find ways to work with these online communities while still protecting their investigations? It's a fascinating dilemma.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Book Nook podcast and leave a review if you enjoyed our deep dive into Lethal Prey.
Thank you for listening to the Book Nook podcast, and be sure to check the link in the description to get your copy of Lethal Prey.